Guys, welcome to another Sunday live session. I'm Ivan Orlovic. That came out a little bit funny. I'm Ivan Orlovic, your host for Earthworks Hub. I'm coming to you live from the studio. It is Sunday, what is it, the 20th already? The 20th of October. The year is flying. So I think it's going to be time for people to start buying Christmas presents already. So yeah, that's already here. And yeah, Christmas will come very, very quick. So I hope you've all been good. Otherwise, you'll end up with no presents. What an awesome week. Apart from some bad weather we had a few days ago in Melbourne, we had a massive, massive downpour and some storms. But aside from that, the weather has been fantastic, especially today. I don't know about everybody else, but I actually got a fair bit done. I went out to a little car show this morning. So I took the old Tirana out. We had a bit of a meet-up with the car club that I'm in. Just a bit of a barbecue gathering. That ended up being a really, really good morning. Ended up having a barbecue and stuff. Very, very nice day. So I was happy to give the car a wash and give it a bit of a go after actually a long spell before I took it, since I've taken it out. Also, I went to go watch Sushi Mango last night. So I love those guys. I can really, really relate to all their content. Coming from a European background, a lot of the things that they talk about and the jokes that they make resonate with me. So even I love when they have all their little background scenes, or whatever you want to call it, the little bits in the background. They have these old photos, old picture frames that even my house had. So when I was young, I remember all the same picture frames that they use in their skits. They're exactly what I had back in the day at home. So I can just really, really relate to what they do. I find them absolutely hilarious. So their show last night was absolutely amazing. So if you haven't been to one of the Sushi Mango shows, I highly, highly recommend going to watch it. Because even though we get to watch them on social media and that, watching them in person, they actually do different things. So they don't actually just repeat the same content from what they do on their socials. They actually have just specific content just for those shows. So yeah, no, very, very, very good fun that was. So yeah, if you haven't seen them, make sure you go and see Sushi Mango. Absolute laugh. So yeah, Melbourne definitely turning on the weather yesterday and today. Yesterday it started getting a bit better, but today was fantastic. And this week we're going to hit the high 20s, which is really good to see. So for once we're getting some... Well, summer's here. It's officially here now. So tonight I do have a guest. So to everyone on TikTok, unfortunately you won't be able to see the guest on Instagram. So I do all my guests via Instagram only. So either switch over there once the guest comes on, or you can watch the episode, because I do upload all these episodes. And they all go up on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. So you can go and see those during the week if you can't see it this evening. And the same goes, if you miss something and you want to go back and hear it, you can also do that during the week. Tonight we start our new segment, and that is Maintenance Matters. So I'm going to have on here Aaron from Definitive Contracting. Hopefully you guys have all seen my last podcast with him. So he came on, that way you guys can get to know who he is and what he's all about. So he's been all around Australia, has a contracting or a maintenance contracting business. So they do all heavy machinery. So he's very, very well versed in the mechanical side of machinery and that. So that's why we've decided to use Aaron as our Maintenance Matters segment host. So I'm going to invite him on in a second. Before we do that, make sure that you are subscribing on all the socials for Earthworks Hub, yeah? So go on to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We've got a Facebook group. And go onto the website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, and make sure that you sign up as a member. And we do have some special deals from all of our sponsors. Which brings me to that section. So before we go on with Aaron, I need to thank all of my sponsors. So there's a few now. I've got to go through the list here. Network Finance, the Bole Group, Melbourne Tractors, Spartan Machinery, Nexgenlandscapes and Earthworks, JR Safety Co., Digga. So make sure you use the code eWorksHub for anything that you go and buy from Digga, and you will get a discount. And people are using it, so I can see, because they do give me a report on sales and stuff and how it's going. People are actually using the code, so thank you to everyone that's using it, and I hope you're enjoying those discounts. And the same goes with hard hat watches. So hard hat watches, hopefully you guys saw that clip I did this week. I showed some bloopers as well, so making videos is not as easy as you think. I was making a video for the new Sports Edition hard hat watch, and we've joined forces, and they've given me a code as well, eWorks Hub, and you get a discount on hard hat products on their website. So that's also available on the website. Just click on their link on my website, and it'll take you there. So also, yeah, Earthmoving Warehouse, Godings, and Digga. So thank you to all those sponsors. They make all this possible for me, so that I can give you guys discounts and that as well. So thank you to all those guys. People have been using the codes, and people have been buying merch. So I can see also, I get reports and all that, and I can see more and more people buying merch. So thank you to everyone for showing your support. And when you do buy merch and it does turn up, make sure that you're posting it up as well. Let everyone know that you're supporting Earthworks Hub. All right, so what else was there? Something I've got to remind everyone of. One is we are on here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Melbourne time. I didn't realise, and I only realised when I was organising this evening with Aaron, that I forgot Brisbane's on a different timeline, and there's probably other states that are on different timelines. So we always start at 8 p.m. Melbourne time. So please keep that in mind for future. And if you're listing your business on the website, so a lot of people have been listing on there, so you can list your business on there so people can use your services. You can see your stats. Some people are asking me, how do I know how many people have been using, or like finding me on your website, how many people have clicked on my phone number, or how many have clicked on directions and this and that. You can actually view the stats. So if you did a paid yearly subscription, you can see stats. So go in, log in to your username, and click on stats, and it will actually tell you the stats on how many people are clicking on your website. Or it will tell you who's clicking directly on your phone, who's clicking onto your website page. It tells you how many clicks. So it will tell you like 53 people viewed your page or whatever. So that's good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go. Ascend. So Ascend Earthworks is saying that's good to know. He was wondering the same thing also. Yeah. So if you log in, there's a section there where it says view stats. So you can click on view stats, and it'll tell you how many people have been clicking. So I was having a bit of a browse today, and I was actually amazed at how many clicks a lot of people are getting. So that's good to see. And it gives you a good, I suppose, sample of how well you're going with your ad. So a big announcement, big announcement. We have a new sponsor, and I think the sponsor's actually just logged in a bit earlier. So we have MOBA Australia. So MOBA Australia, they do all types of automation for machines, machine control, GPS, laser levels, grader levels, all that sort of stuff. They have now joined the Earthworks Hub train. So thank you very much to MOBA for choosing to be a sponsor and a partner. They're giving me the thumbs up. Thank you very much, guys. If you want any more details, or you want to get in touch with MOBA, go on to www.earthworkshub.com.au. On the front page where it says partners, click on MOBA, and it will take you to their website. Or if you look under contractors and suppliers, look under there, and you'll find MOBA in there as well. So they've also listed their business. So thank you very much for your partnership / sponsorship. So thank you very much, guys. And I think it's going to develop into some bigger things here. So keep your eyes open, everyone. All right. So they have come on this week. What else? At Project Spalding, I did install some electric gates, and some more news coming on that. So keep your eyes posted on that. I posted up hard hat watches this week and some bloopers, like I said a bit earlier. And I did a bit of a funny skit. I was showing people how to make a muscle top out of an Earthworks Hub t-shirt. So if you do want to look good at the gym, watch that video as well. And I'll show you how I cut the sleeves on mine. And I actually do wear it to the gym. So I do actually promote my own stuff. All right, so let's get straight to the segment. I don't want to keep you all waiting. I'm sure you're all keen to hear. I'm going to invite Aaron from Definitive Contracting on. Give me 1 second, and we will start our new segment. Aaron, thank you very much for helping with this maintenance matters segment.
No, mate, it's good to be on. I really enjoyed the last one. So, yeah, I hope people got something out of it. That's the main thing. So, here to help.
Yeah. No, awesome, man. Yeah, I did. I got a lot of good, positive feedback about that episode, and hence why I thought it would be like good to keep doing these as a bit of a regular segment. As we sort of spoke about this before that podcast,
Yeah.
and now we're going to finally do it. So that's good.
Yeah, I think it's good, mate. Yeah, save some people some heartache and money along the way. I think it's, yeah, it's a bonus, really. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, look, it's good because a lot of people are owner operators or operators even, and or guys that just have machines and don't even actually operate. But I think it's good to know a little bit about your machines and your equipment, rather than just buying it and then relying on just an operator that might not even know what to do, or a mechanic that might not see everything. So you got to do some things yourself, isn't it?
yeah, that's right, mate. And if you understand why the machine feels like sometimes an operator knows the machine better than a mechanic. So, it's always good to be able to have somebody that's always on a machine tell you, no, that's not what it should be like. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's good to know they know, and yeah, everybody can help each other out that way. So,
yeah. That's it. And that's what this segment's going to be about. So it's going to be, Aaron's going to give us some tips so that way, we can share experiences that he's had, and we can hopefully apply that to our machinery and our businesses. So, yeah, once again, thank you very, very much for sharing your knowledge.
no,
Um,
thanks for having me, mate.
that's it. So today's topic is going to be, funnily enough, because summer is here, we're going to talk about aircon and like aircon in machinery, and go over a couple of things with aircon. And one of the main things, I suppose, is I say summer's here, so make sure that you check your gas and make sure that the aircon's working. But you probably should have aircon on most of the time, isn't it? So can we just go through what does the aircon system uh, what does it comprise of, the whole aircon system? Like, what are all the components in there?
So there's a few different spots. Obviously, you have compressor, and then you've got a condenser and evaporator. They're your two heat changing facilities. So that's what makes your cabin cold. There's a TX valve or an orifice, receiver dryer, which keeps all the moisture out of the aircon system. And then sometimes I'll also have an accumulator within the system. So, yeah, not all systems are the same. There's different types of compressors. Some use a fixed tube, some use an orifice tube, some use a TX valve that regulates. So, and then you have obviously the control side as well. So, different machines have different ways of doing it with climate control. Some are just basic. So, yeah, there's a bit in it. So it can be tricky. You can get thrown some doozies when they do break down. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I've had some aircon unit stuff up on me, and it's not good. Yeah, one, you do get hot in there, especially when it's hot outside. But it's something that can probably be. There's probably going to be some things that you can prevent, which is what we're going to talk
yes.
about. So I suppose, what else can you tell us about the aircon that most people might not even know? So let's go through some of those parts. So, for example, even cabin filters. Let's start with cabin filters. Because
Yeah,
I didn't know about cabin filters for a long time at the start, until one day one of the mechanics said to me, "Oh, how often do you change your cabin filters?" And I was like, What's that?" And he's like, "Are you serious? You don't even know what they are?" And I was like, "No, no idea." And he's like, "You're supposed to change them all the time." So yeah, give us a
yeah.
bit about cabin filters then.
So you generally have two cabin filters. You'll have like a fresh air one. So that'll be one that'll filter air from the outside, generally located on behind the door on, say, a Digga. And then you'll have an inner recirc filter, which can be behind the seat, depending whether it's mounted or down below the seat on the side. So the inner one is pretty important. Well, they're all important because if they get blocked, they'll try and suck around. So having a clean cab really rolls into your keeping the aircon system working well. Because if that filter's blocked or damaged, any dirt that's on your boots will get sucked through that evaporator. And I've sent you some photos earlier, so hopefully if we can get those up, you'll see exactly what happens.
Yep.
And It's not so much the dust as well as the aircon system's getting hot and cold. You'll get condensation, so you'll see the drip out of the machine while it's
Yep.
running. Out of your car, you'll see that puddle. So that's moisture that's building up on the evaporator. And what happens is that dust that is entering into the system through a damaged filter, non-replaced, or just a dirty floor, that will go in and get stuck on the evaporator, and it just turns to a block of mud. So a good indication of that is poor airflow on your vents. So if you start to get poor airflow, then you're starting to look at dramas, definitely. So that's why keeping a clean cab is pretty important. And I know a lot of people will have the windows open. Turn your aircon off. It's going to save you thousands of dollars. Like, just turn it off.
I was just going to ask you that. So, like a lot of these cabins nowadays are all pressurized, yeah? So they're supposed to be like, so dust proof and whatever. How does that, how does all that work? How does the pressurized cabin work? Does the aircon have a play in that, or how does that work?
So some aircon systems, depending on the volume of air that the blowers will move, can. But you'll have, say, a breeze safe system, which is outside filters. You'll have one filter one motor, that'll draw through the filter, and then another one that will actually pressurize the cabin. And what that'll do is push everything out against the seals. So I think you get up to like 50 pascals of pressure. Sometimes, well, you get heaps more when you self-test them, but it keeps the pressure out, keeps the pressure in the cab so no dust will come in. So it's pretty critical to look after all your door seals and keep the mud out when you're stepping in and out of the cabs, just to make sure that that system is working, and change those filters regularly. So we do a bit for Cleanaway, and every 3 months we go in and we check their systems. We do a self-test, replace all the filters because they work in pretty bad environments. So it's very critical.
Yeah. And what about, say, we were talking before about working with the cab open. I have to admit, I am one of those guys. Sometimes I leave the window open, and if it's a really hot day, because I'll leave the front window open so I can talk in the excavator, talk to the spotter or whoever's outside, the labourer. Sometimes I have the aircon running just to cool myself, but I can still hear what they're saying. So what are you saying? So that's not good. That's not good, is it?
Well, you're letting the dust in. So if your recirc filter down the bottom or at the back, all that dust is going to get drawn through that. So if it's not in there or it's blocked and damaged, that air is going to find its way in. And if the dust will just slowly build up over time. So you can turn the aircon off, and leave the fan running. But it is one of those things, you make that sacrifice sort of thing. So it's once you put those photos up and you see you would have seen them today when I sent you to them.
Well, I'm looking at one right now. So I'll post this one up when I put the edited version out. But there's one here of a cabin filter that looks terrible, man. It's just so clogged. I wonder how they even got any airflow through there.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So another big
crazy
thing too is all the jumpers, the Red Bull cans, the water bottles, the hard hats, all the stuff that gets tossed behind the seat, the shifter, the grease that's tucked in beside. That's normally where the filters are. So you can puncture your filter, push it out of the way. You end up with grease and everything in there. So you just got to be careful and mindful of that.
Yeah, 100%, man. I was just going to say that I've recently been swapping between machines and that, and I've noticed people's jumpers, heaps of empty bottles and that all down the bottom in the bigger machines, and it's it's totally covered the actual return air or whatever you want to call it, the cab aircon filters, and I'm like, how can they even be sucking air in? They can't.
Yeah, well, it's even you can damage the wiring for the aircon system, and even just the machine wiring itself. I've been to jobs, machine won't start, say, or they won't get pilot pressure or function. You look behind the seat and there's a hard hat jammed in there that's been running up and down with the seat suspension, and it's just cut the wires. So then you're in there repairing the wires. So it's there's the amount of stuff you pull out of there. It's
Yeah, I know.
Just got to be mindful of that. Give it a clean.
Yeah, it's true. There's nothing worse when I jump in the machine, because the first thing I do is look down behind the seat, and I'm like, all right, 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3. There's all bottles in there, gloves, all sorts of stuff, man. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Somebody just wrote, is that the same thing for crane cabins? I think he said. Let me just go back. Yeah, is it the same for crane cabs in general? Yeah, I think it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mate. Yep. The systems are the same, and yeah, they all work the same. So, yeah, obviously, if you've got it on recirc, if you've got a window open, it's sucking hot air, so it's going to have to work harder to cool that air. So, if you've got it closed on recirc, it's recircing cooler air, so it's going to work a lot better. So then you're not going to need that fan on flat out blowing in your face all day either. You can actually turn it down, and it'll keep the cabin at a better temperature, so it's a bit more comfortable, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes
yeah.
sense. It makes sense. And what's the best way to clean these? Because most of them are like a paper filter, aren't they? So what's sort of the best way to clean these cabin filters
Just buy a
between changing them?
new one.
Yeah.
Just buy a new one or just pull it out and just give it a tap. So just tap it on the side of the tracks and you just, when you do it too, just make sure you look at which way it comes out because they're generally a directional filter. So it'll have this side up or this side out, this way in, and you just slide it back in that same way. So sometimes you won't be able to get them back on. I know some machines are very difficult and it's like a pain in the ass to change a few of them. Like I know a Hyundai Digga, the recirc filter is a nightmare to change. So yeah, but it's just generally just give them a clean out. If you got your little Milwaukee blower or something, just blow them out the opposite way. So yeah, when you slide it out, just opposite way, blow it out, and you get all the dust out. So just move away from the cabin so you don't dust your cabin.
Yeah, true. No, there you go, man. That's good advice. I actually started buying like a second pair of cabin filters, like a new pair, and had them sitting around so that when the other ones got so bad, I just swap them over and put new ones in because it was just better, it was easier to just change them over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah, that's just the way. Like 500-hour service or something, depending on the conditions. If you keep your cab pretty clean, it's not too bad. But you know, sometimes some crews have blokes in and out all day, so
yeah,
the mud's in and out. It makes it a little bit harder. You're going to go through a few more. So
yeah. So does the heater doesn't use that same system, does it? Is that separate to the aircon?
no, so it'll still be in the same. So generally, you'll have your evaporator, and then your heater might be in a different location. They'll have a flap inside that'll block one off and open up the other one, and it just changes the direction of flow. So yeah, and then your heater tap will come on and allow hot coolant to go through the heater core as well. So
So that would use the same filters then maybe, is it?
same
Just
filters.
like it'd be still,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah,
when you
all the
when
airflow
you
is the same.
yeah, when you're in there and you got the heater on, so you just recirculating dust. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So sometimes if your aircon's not working, especially after winter, your heater taps can be stuck. So sometimes you can just turn your heater taps off or the changeover vent or something might not be working. So you can just, turn off your heater taps and that can sort of get you going for a little while. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. And then what about like the condenser, that's the part that looks like the radiator, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, mate. So nowadays, a lot of OEMs and that are mounting them like you'll see them on dozers. They'll be mounted up on the back of the cabin and they'll have separate fans, but they used to be mounted on the radiator. So the idea there is to get as much cool airflow across that condenser as possible. So if that's blocked full of stuff, you get less cooling effect. So it's important to keep that clean, especially behind it. Make sure that the radiator's not blocked up behind there, so you are getting good airflow across that. So
Yeah. I've got some photos that you sent me as well here, which I'll post up again when it's edited. That looks like a condenser. I've got one here where it's got a before and after shot. Is that right? So there's one where it looks
yeah,
filthy as, and then there's a shot where I think you must have cleaned it. Is it? What a
we
difference!
possibly could have replaced it as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
because sometimes they just deteriorate depending what they're working in as well. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
somebody hits it with a pressure washer or something and folds all the fins, and you got to replace it. So that's
That that was
a big.
that was going to be my question. Yeah, what's the best way to clean that? Because I'm a culprit of that. I used to get the high pressure gun in there and just like sort of go up and down between it. Like what's the best way?
Yeah, air's not too bad. You just don't want to be too close, and with say a direct, like a small air blower, you can get ones that they're sort of like a Venturi style, and they'll move more air. So it's just, yeah, it's more mass than pressure, which is probably a little bit better. You can wash them down with a hose as well. So yeah, you can hose it down. Sometimes that's a good way to make sure that the system's working properly, or if you've got enough airflow. If you hose down your condenser and then your aircon starts working, shows that your condenser could be a bit blocked from previous repairs or contamination, or that, yeah, you're not getting good airflow across that.
Yeah, there you go. And what about, high pressure with water, like water jets and stuff? Is that no good,
Oh,
or?
nah, you're
Oh,
better off not really going that close. So if you can fold a few fins, but yeah, you still want, yeah, you just want to be very careful. Just the garden hose is good enough to clean them out generally. So yeah,
yeah,
just pop
yeah,
the nozzle off and just put the bulk water over it.
yeah. All right. So that's the condenser parts. And what about, is there anything else that we can clean in an aircon unit, apart from the condenser or the aircon, the cab filters?
Not really. So another thing with your, like the dust entry in that, is the blower motors. So on older machines, the different styles of motors, they do wear out, and they can get dust in them. They'll get heavy or unweighted, and the bearings will fail, especially if if they sit upright, they'll just get full of dust and that, and they can fail. Yeah, pop your fuses and that. So that's probably one thing to check if they are getting noisy. Just
Yeah,
replace the pair of them if you got two. Yeah, if one's going, the other one's bound to go soon. So
yeah,
yeah,
man. All right. Yeah, who would have thought the aircon unit was so complex? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what about, so what are the first couple of signs that your aircon's not running right, or that you're running out of gas? Like, how do we know when it's starting to run out of gas?
So generally the efficiency of the system. So if you're not getting down to temperature, that's generally a sign, but it's sort of hard because obviously the aircon, it cools down or heats up. So you can have multiple things wrong that affect the aircon system. Like there's a photo there, one of Tim, my auto sparky, he's a gun. He was having dramas figuring out this AC system, and what he found, they were lifting the cab and checking everything, and then they'd close the cab, and one of the hoses was kinking on
Oh,
the AC
oh,
system. Yeah, so a new hose had been made and fitted, and then yeah, it was kinking, so it was creating like a restriction in it. So it was doing all sorts of weird things and not working properly. So
yeah,
yeah, there's yeah, and then what else? Like a Volvo runs a climate control system, so those can be a bit tricky sometimes to figure out exactly what's happening, and they can be quite expensive to replace as well. So just the control system for that.
mm, mm,
But yeah, it's generally the airflow is a big one. That's obviously the dust entry and your evaporator getting blocked. There's some good videos on YouTube actually. There's like one guy who gets in and hoses the evaporator out in the cab, like pulls all the stuff out, and he's just got it in there and hoses it all out just to save him having to disconnect the whole system and
yeah,
yeah, strip it all apart. So, but
man.
yeah, it's yeah, sometimes you can't do that on site. So
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because on my one of my cat posi tracks, I think the same thing happened because we had the condenser on the back door, and then the same thing every time we opened the door, it worked, and then the mechanic would close it, and then the hose would kink again. I think it was the same thing happened to me on the cat, and then he
yeah,
couldn't figure out what it was, and then it ended up being that hose that comes across the door, on across the hinge and onto the back door, so that every time you open it, it would just kink. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just little things like you might, instead of being like right upright when you fit it, you might have just dropped it that way, and it's enough. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. There you go. And then there was also, they were telling me that one of the mechanics told me that under the cab, I'm talking about the cat posi track here again,
yep,
under the cab, the actual condenser was, there's another condenser or something under the actual cab in that
the
black box,
evaporator.
or the
Yep,
evaporator. He was saying that a lot of people don't know they can clean that out too. You just got to open up the black box and clean it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know. And he's like, yeah, that probably hasn't ever been cleaned since you bought it. So,
yep.
yeah, I didn't even know about that. So what's the go with that?
Yeah, so you can pop the cab and then get down into it. So the filters will sometimes be down in there, and you can pop them out and get to it and actually clean it. So you just got to be careful not to overly flood it. But the clear tube or the tube that comes out that you see the condensation dripping out of, you can generally give it a bit of a wash and get a bit of dirt and whatnot out of it. But yeah, you can clean them to a certain extent. So
there you go. Well, see, Sydney Rockwell saying, I got caught out this week with the condenser having a lot of dust in it and the aircon was not working properly. Yeah, well, there you go.
yep,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's the simple things and yeah, hence a chat like this, it can give you guys a chance to go, hang on, I'll go and blow out the condenser, or I'll give it a hose off, and then, yeah, you can sort it out yourself before you have to call us or somebody else to come in. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, it doesn't even have to be that hot. You just need a little bit of sun, and cabins just heat up automatically. So it doesn't matter what you're in, a grate or a moxie or whatever. As soon as you get in there and you start working and moving around and that, it doesn't have to be a really hot day. It just gets hot. So you need the aircon working, you know?
yeah. Well, you've got those pilot lines, so the hydraulic oil is in the cab right beside you. So
Yeah.
if your hydraulic oil's at 80 degrees, you got the heat off the pilot lines and everything in there too. So yeah, it's especially them smaller machines, and the engines are right up against the cab and everything too. So
Yeah. Well, what's Jack Healy saying? I'll wash the Bobcat condenser out twice a year, and it's always full of dust. And he said the same as the evaporator box. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
yeah,
Oh,
that's it. Prevention
good.
is better than a cure.
I like that. That is very, very true. Very, very true.
Yeah.
All right. So the best way then you're saying is just to use a hose. Don't use high pressure water jets or like a gurney or something.
No, you don't have to. And a good time to do it is the end of the day. So if you're going to wash it down or anything, do it at the end of the day, because it's not going to get covered in dust straight away. If you wet it and then go and work, you're going to fill it, and instead of being dust in there, it'll turn to mud, and then you will have to pressure wash it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So let the machine cool down before you go hosing it while it's super hot. But yeah, just use the garden hose at the end of the day and wash it off, same as your radiators and coolers. So and another thing actually, while we're talking about washing, is you'll see when you've got, say, bigger machines or things packed together, you'll have like a radiator, or you might have two radiators and they're set together, or a hydraulic cooler. In between there's generally foam. There'll be foam all around the radiators. Leave the foam in there. If you blow it out, put it back in. So what that does, it creates airflow through your radiators and your cooling system. So liquids and air will find the least path of resistance. So instead of blowing through your radiator, it'll just blow straight up and out where that piece of foam was. So sometimes if you're having overheating issues, that's something to have a look at. So even while you're just washing it and you might think, oh, it's a piece of foam, it's nothing. Very, very important.
Wow. How big is that? Like just a little strip, is it, at the top, or is it like all the way the whole length of the
No, it'll be
the
so the whole way around it, it'll be fully sealed. So yeah, you'll see all the foam, or there'll be rubber flaps and that beside it where you've got the shroud and the fan. So yeah, all of that's really important.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right, good. Yeah, good to know. And then in the meantime, TerraPro has mentioned that it gets hot even on a 20-odd degree day in his cabin. So someone just said, Jack Healy said, just give it a limo tint. I like it. Give it a limo tint.
Yeah.
Oh,
black it out.
Yeah, that's it. Black it out. The only thing I found with tint is that if I had the cabin open, because I like to have it open every now and then, it would scratch. The dust would accumulate on the window, and if I wiped it with a rag, it would eventually just scratch, and it'd be hard to see through it. But the other one is sometimes it would give me reflections of the opposite side, so I'd think someone's walking beside me or something. It'd give me odd reflections, so I used to get a bit worried about tinting my machines. So
yeah, sometimes like I see a lot of machines around that have like super dark tint, but I think if you look at like the ceramic stuff, or it's like, I think they do metallic as well, where it actually reflects the heat. You don't have to have the tint as dark, and it sometimes might cost a bit more, but I think that's a lot better than having probably the dark tint. And when you touch the glass, you can actually feel the temperature difference between non-ceramic tint and ceramic tint, because it reflects the heat pretty well. So that's something to consider, especially if you're in and out for night works too. You can't have that dark tint. You're not going to be able to see anything.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, for night works. Yeah, very, very true. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. No, that's good. That's good. I suppose in the meantime, guys, while we're talking, if you think of some questions, feel free to fire away. Even if it's not related to aircon, just fire away. That's what we're here for. That's what the segment is about. We've just picked aircon as the main topic, so just
Yeah.
to give us something to start off with. So yeah, feel free to fire away if you've got any other maintenance questions. So what else? So we've covered cabin filters, we've covered pressurized cabs, the condensers, all that stuff, how to wash them out. What else is there that what other advice can you give us about the aircon systems and in general?
So it's probably good to just service your aircon system every 2 years, because you do have oil within the aircon system to lubricate the compressor. So if your aircon has had issues, it has got hot because the condenser was blocked, or had bad airflow, it can actually burn the oil. So everything has a lifespan essentially. So they do wear out. So sometimes you do a service on it regularly, because obviously your hoses are still porous. You will lose gas over time. It's not a bad thing to do because you can check the oil condition when you do it. And then like I said before, prevention's better than a cure. So you're better off vacuuming that system down, checking the oil, replacing the receiver dryer while the Sparky or the AC guys there. You pressure test it all, make sure there's no leaks. You generally go a little bit higher than the rated pressure, so you'll find those leaks and whatnot if there is, and just a good check over. So go through the whole system. So when I was working at Rio Tinto, they would do the truck fleet every year. But they would go through and just replace everything, full service, and it just kept their trucks running. They had no complaints. So they spent that little bit of money and they made it up on the back end. So it's something to think about maybe every 2 years just to do that, especially if you're going to pull it apart to give the evaporator a clean. Because, it's quicker to clean it then than it is to replace the whole thing, because it can be quite expensive.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. A couple of guys are talking about the tint here. Let me just go back. So Terra Pro is saying, I haven't done it yet due to reflection and things. I'm ready now. So I have the legal ceramic on the truck and it works well. So yeah, he's saying that the ceramic is working well. And then Jack Healy saying he does heaps at night. And the only thing that does shit him is that the GPS system, the GPS screen reflects, but he just dims it and he gets used to it. Yeah. All right. There you go. So I suppose people deal with it. You know, you can just work around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And there's a couple of fans that you've got pictures of there. Are they fans that have ripped off or something, or what's the story with those?
Man, they've just been operating facing up. So they've just had a lot of dust and everything build up and sit on them. So sometimes I get a vibration in them and a noise. And you'll chase a vibration and it'll be the condenser fan. Or they've probably worn out as well just because of the extra weight and they've just flogged out. So you don't get the cooling effect across your condenser. So your aircon could be struggling just because your fans aren't working well on your condenser.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. I'll post those up as well. Yeah. There you go. Oh, well, there you go, guys. We just thought we'd give you a little bit of advice on aircon systems, particularly because it's starting to get a lot warmer here. Melbourne's finally starting to get above 20 degrees. So for us, that's starting to get warm. What else is there? Jack Healy is saying, MOBA saying, Jack Healy, but how good is that GPS? Obviously, MOBA's giving him that GPS system. That's right. And MOBA's actually jumped on board as a partner and a sponsor. So thank you again to MOBA for doing that. I've heard Jack has given only good feedback about their products. So I'm sure he's happy. Oh, there you go. Best in the business. There you go. Have you dealt with any MOBA equipment?
No, I haven't, to be honest with you. So I haven't done a whole lot on the GPS side. The closest I've sort of been is the autonomous stuff over in WA, which is pretty cool. And yeah, just seen a few bits and pieces, the intelligent machines when I was working at Komatsu. That stuff was pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
yeah, when they released it at Bulmer, I was over there to watch that. That was pretty cool. So it's
Yeah.
amazing what they can do now, and it's uh, it's it's worth its weight in gold, definitely. So
Mm,
time
mm.
saving, and yeah, even like especially for dozers, they're pretty awesome what they can do now. So it's all about saving fuel and uh, preventative maintenance, like your track wear and everything as well. So it's pretty good. I think yeah, that initial cost is far surpassed by the benefits, I think.
Yeah. 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 ADM Civil is saying he'd love a discount code for MOBA. I'm sure that I'm sure if you mention Earthworks Hub, MOBA will be able to help you out. I'm sure we'll be working on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So the aircon stuff we're talking about, does that apply across like a whole range of machines? I know we usually predominantly talk about excavators, posi tracks, and other sort of similar machines. Does that just apply to a lot of machines in general?
All this, yeah, everything's the same pretty much, man. Like in the tunnels, aircon system, it still works the same. It's just run off electricity generally. It'll just have a an electric driven compressor or motor that drives the compressor. But yeah, all the principles are the same. The filters, the cleanliness, checking over the systems, making sure everything's sealed, and just keeping it clean. And yeah, just checking. Like even once a year, just get an AC guy to throw his gauges on, and you can see just in the pressures whether the gas is high or low. So, yeah, you don't have to do a full service. You can just check the gases that way, and you'll get a fair idea whether the system's going to be running well or not. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good, man. No, that's good. Good to know. Good to know.
yeah,
Um, the guys, if you have just joined or anyone that hasn't seen what we are talking about a bit earlier or heard what we said, if you do have a maintenance request or maintenance question or something you want to know about maintenance or repairs, now's the time to ask. Or if you haven't thought about it right now and you think of something during the week, send me a message and then Aaron and I will talk and we'll organise to get some information together for you. Because this will be a regular segment, so we'll be able to talk about things more often. Yeah, Matt from AgriDig. Hey, saying hey, dude. Matty, how are you? Yeah, Matt. In case people don't know, Matt is actually from Wales in the UK. So he was one of my initial guests on the show. So we've got international guests on here as well.
that's good, mate. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's real
that's it.
good.
That's it.
Yeah, there's
Ascend is
pretty
saying,
cool stuff on Insta. There's
what's
good
that?
there's good stuff on Insta, like some of the guys around the world, you see what they do, like the FIFO Irishman, I think. Is it the FIFO Irishman? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He's awesome. Yeah, the stuff that he operates, doing all the big sea rock walls and that, he's got a real good account to look at.
yeah, yeah. I love it because a lot of them overseas have already got all the Encon and all the tilt rotators and all. They've got like a lot of
Oh,
stuff, and it's like just nothing for them. So there's a lot of
yeah.
guys posting up heaps of good things, and I always watch them and think, oh man, like they've just got
Oh,
like they're far
yeah.
ahead, you know?
Mate, yeah, we're pretty slow on the take up over in Australia. Like even just the oil quick setups, like the quick couplers with no hoses.
Yep.
Like that, I don't know why more people don't sort of have that stuff. I know there's good and bad points, but the cost savings in the long run is, yeah, phenomenal, I think, especially if you're in demolition.
Yeah.
So I reckon, yeah, that'd be pretty good there.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean like that? Is it like Encon have the eco oil or whatever they call it?
Yeah,
Where
the
they just
EC
plug
oil, yeah,
EC oil. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. There's Oil Quip. I think Liebherr has a good one, the Liquifix. Yeah, it's massive in Europe and America. That's what they use. Like even that big Arex Liebherr
Y-
that Aggregat have, it's got it. Like, and he just goes bang, drops, and away you go. You know, time saving, no oil, no
y-
hoses,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. It's pretty mad. So.
Yeah. I think a couple of guys are saying because it's so expensive. Yeah, it is very costly.
Yeah,
Very very costly.
it
Yeah,
is expensive, but yeah, if you're not looking after your hammer hoses and you're doing $1,500 hammer hoses once a month or something, contamination, all that sort of stuff, it's yeah. But
yeah,
it's that initial cost over a lifetime that you got to weigh up. So
Yeah, that's true. That is. Um, Someone's saying, so Ascend is saying, yeah, the EC oil in the Encon saves heaps of time. I think Sydney Rockwell saying, yeah, that he's got the same type of setup. And then, Ascend has said, yeah, this is a good segment. I like it. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And then Jack Healy saying, I don't know how the US has so many tilt rotators, but 4-in-1s on posies. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, that's
weird.
true.
They just have a standard bucket.
Yeah, they always have just that one. They have a normal. Most of them have just a normal deep, or a long bottom bucket on their machines. It's weird. I don't know how they operate with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
no, that is true. Because
yeah,
every video you see in the States is just they've just got that long bottom bucket and that's it.
just a
I don't know.
standard grading bucket or something.
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, ADM is saying he agrees. So let's open it up to everyone. So I don't know, have we finished on the aircon one? Is there anything that you'd like to add about
No,
aircon in
not really,
general?
mate. Like it's uh, it's pretty simple what it does. It's complicated to repair sometimes. Maintenance is probably critical these days, like because silica is such a big thing now. So your cabin pressurizers and all of that now. So keeping the doors closed. It's just keeping a clean cab and just being aware where those filters are, what you've got behind your seat. So just yeah,
Yeah,
get a
that
Sparky or an yeah Sparky or an AC guy to put their gauges on and just check it like once a year. So especially coming in the summer if you haven't used it that much.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Because like I was saying here, I jump in a few different machines nowadays and then yeah, first thing I do is just pull out bottles. Yeah, that's empty plastic bottles, jumpers,
Yeah.
beanies. Yeah, there's like all sorts of stuff behind there.
Daily inspection workbooks, like job packs from 3 jobs ago. Like, yeah, you pull out some
Yeah,
pretty cool stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. I bought a machine from a mate. I'm probably gonna dob him in here. I shouldn't do it, but bad luck. He's gonna cop it anyway. I bought a
Yeah.
machine once off a mate, and actually I didn't know him that well back then, but we just sort of knew each other from other people, and then became better friends over the years. But I bought this machine off him, and I went to clean it all out, and behind the seat, I swear there were that many parking tickets. It was like the whole back section behind the seat was just chock a block with parking fines. And what it was is he was doing heaps of road work, like night works and that in the city. And he used to just leave his machine there and then was too lazy to move it. So it just sit in like a parking spot on the side of a road, and they just keep finding him, and he just go there, rip it off, and throw it behind the seat, and just kept accumulating him, and he never paid him. And then I rang him up once and I said, "Do you want all these parking tickets?" And then he's like, no, just throw them out. Don't worry about it. And I was like, there would have been hundreds in there, hundreds. I don't know how many times he must have been parking all the time and just copping one every day and just throw it in the back.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
used to
I don't
get
know what
heaps of
happened.
them on my truck, like parking in Sydney at my place. It'd be too late. I wouldn't want to drive back to Wetherill Park to get back to like Randwick. I'm like, I'll just take the truck home, walk out there, parking fine. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah,
Like, cost a fortune, slowly builds up, but the joys
yeah.
of it, city living.
That's what happens. Yeah, I had a few operators that used to take my truck home every now and then, and they live close to inner city as well. And they used to get fines, and I was like, oh man. And I felt bad because I was like, on it. Well, you've got a choice then. Either you drive it back to the yard and then drive back home, or you just pay the fine and have the luxury of driving it straight home, you know. And then
Yeah,
in the end, I paid a few. I paid a few of the fines, and then I was like, boys, I can't keep paying these things. You just got to have to take them back to the yard, you know,
yeah,
because they didn't want it. They wanted to just keep it there so they can just jump in and go straight to work. And I was like, well, the first few times I was like, I'll pay him, but then after that, I was like, this is crazy, $90 every time. It was like starting to build up.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I always feel sorry for the crane guys and like the concrete pumpies. I pass them going the opposite way, or like if I'm working late, I'm like, they're always the last ones on the road. Like you can't
yeah,
park those just anywhere. So yeah,
yeah.
like
But even,
yeah,
yeah, even the vacuum trucks and that. Like a couple of my mates have got vac trucks, and they're everyone thinks they just pack up at 4 o'clock, whatever, and they go home. But no, they've got to go and still go to the tip site, which stays open just for them. Release all the sludge, then wash all of it out, and that so they can start again in the morning. Because if they just leave it in there overnight, it's not going to go well. So
yeah,
you see the vac trucks always coming home late as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Feel for them.
Yeah, yeah. And then Matt from the UK was saying because they can't grade in USA. There you go. And what's he saying? My neighbours hate me because I used to take the 17-ton duck home and drop muck on the sidewalk. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, my neighbours weren't too fond of me because I live in like a little cul-de-sac or a court, as we call them. And I used to keep all my equipment at home originally. So I had like 3 5-ton machines in the front yard, 2 tippers. I had a tray truck with like a beaver tail back on it, parked on the side. The 1.8, everything, posi tracks, all just parked everywhere across. I actually put CT across the whole front yard and just parked all in my front yard, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I used to get phone calls at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night saying, "Oh, we don't need your 5-tonner tomorrow. We'll need the posi." And I'm like, coming off, taking the posi track off at like 9 o'clock at night, putting the 5-tonner on. There's all mud on the road. And I don't know how they put up with it for so long, yeah. But it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, yeah.
The old reverse buzzers in the street at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, just put it on the flashing light. When the flashing light's on, they can go. That's, yeah.
Turn the tracking beeper off, yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Or the handbrake door alarms, they get you pretty good.
Oh, on the trucks, yeah. The concrete trucks.
Yeah, the trucks or the light vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You go to take off and then you're like in a panic trying to close your doors, open your hand, lift your handbrake and you're like, just shut up. Yeah.
That's Julie 06 is saying good old St. Mark's Road neighbours. There you go. Oh, man. Yeah. What's Terrapro saying? I'll pull my fuse for the beeper when it's early or late. That's a good idea, the fuse. I'll tell you, my Kubota, my U55, which was the last one I had. Yeah, the U55, they had 2 beepers on there. So I found one and got rid of the noise. And then I tried to put a reverse squawker on it instead. And then there was another beeper somewhere, and they had it like stashed somewhere under the cab. I don't know where it was. We tried looking for it all the time. It had 2 beepers. It was just weird. I don't know why they did that. So, we managed to get one out. And then I remember a guy came out once. I was doing the job in Bacchus Marsh. And we're doing landscaping. So we're doing all the nature strips. So to do that with the 5-tonner, I'd have to track all the way down the road, scrape one nature strip out, go to the next one, scrape it out. So I'm tracking down around all these suburban areas and beeping. And people would come out. I remember this guy came out once and he was going off. And I said, mate, if you could find that other beeper, I'd be so happy. You tell me, mate, because it was just echoing all through the whole area. So they hated me. Yeah, bloody hell. Anyway, that's it's like I can tell you lots of stories about that stuff. All right, what else is there? Is there any other things you guys want us to talk about while we're here? We've still got another 5 minutes. So if anyone has a topic or a question, let us know. And Matt from UK saying if he's up, everyone's up. Yeah, there you go. I was telling someone a story recently. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a 20-ton Cabalco SK210, and I had a job in the city, and it was a big basement job in the city. And they called, and we finished up, and then I didn't have work for like 2 weeks, and then I finally got a job, and it was like in the suburbs, a fair way away. And they're like, "We need you there at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. You got to start at 7." And I was like, "Oh man, but my machine's in the city." They called me at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to come the next day at 7, and I was like, I've got to organise a float. So I was ringing all these float companies, and one of them finally said, yeah, he can do it, but he said, I can only get there at like 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning, and he said, I'm happy to do it, but you need to be there with me, because if I have to deal with any crap, you're going to be there to cop it as well. And I was like, all right, I don't want to miss out on the job. So it was like 4:30 a.m. and he's like, right, when we got there, we opened up all the gates quietly, and there was apartments like all the way around us. So it was fully surrounded with apartments. It was St Kilda, in case anyone wants to know. So St Kilda's like right in the heart of the city. And he goes, I'm going to go and get the truck ready. And he goes, you start the machine, don't hesitate, don't warm it up, start it, grab the buckets, put them on, get the machine on, and we'll chain it up down the road. We'll just get out of here. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And I was under that much pressure. I started it, and I just got distracted, went to turn, knocked one bucket over, so it went sideways. Went to go pick that one up. It took me ages to pick it up. I couldn't get it. In the meantime, as I'm making all this noise and banging buckets around and that and trying to put the hammer on the truck and this, all these lights start coming on. Bing, 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 all around, all the apartments. Everyone's starting to wake up. And then I just started hearing swearing from all the balconies. Everyone's yelling at me. Everyone's swearing. And the driver's like, hurry up, get the buckets on. Just get on there. Oh, it was the worst experience. And then this lady came out with the robe and she had her hair like in a towel. And she's like, do you know what fucking time this is? And then, have you got a permit for this? I'm like, yeah, I've got one in the car. Just let me load it on. I'll show you after. And then all these people all come. And we had a crowd at the front at like 4:30 in the morning. And the driver's telling me, that's why I told you got to be here, because this is what I would have copped. Yeah. So we finally got the machine on, and he just he drove down the road, and then, another K up the road, whatever, he stopped, and then we chained it all up. But that was the experience, man. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And then I went to that job, and it was supposed to be like a week or two, and I was only there for like 2-3 days. I smashed it out too fast, and then that was it. And I was like, I did all that for a 2-day job. I was so angry, man. I was like, what an effort, man. But yeah, heaps of stories like that. People were swearing from the balcony. I was just waiting for them to start throwing stuff at me. But
yeah.
What do you do? What do you do, man?
You just got to do it. Yeah, we've been stung a few times just working late to get a machine going. And you're just like, there, 8 o'clock at night, rattle guns cranking. Yeah, people like looking at you, looking down. Yeah, you're just under the pumps, sweating.
Yeah. It's not easy, man. It's not easy because you want to get it done. I had the same thing once. I'll tell you another one story. Last one, guys. Last one. I had one of my posi tracks, an RC30, so the small little posi, and I had I was on a job site, and something happened. I think I blew a drive motor or something underneath, and all the oil started pouring out underneath, or a hose burst underneath the cabin. So it was I just stopped in the middle of a new estate, just because I was working in a new estate doing some nature strips, just leveling off topsoil, and it stopped in the middle of like somebody's block of land, and I couldn't move. That's it. It just stopped, so I couldn't do anything. So I had to wait for the mechanic to come, and he turned up. It was late, so same thing. We were there for ages. We were there till like 5-6 o'clock at night. Torches on. He was underneath lifting you had to lift all the seat well and everything out on the old RC30s. Yeah. It was like right underneath. I can't remember. I don't know what the hoses were for. I can't remember. And yeah, we finally got it fixed. And then in the morning, the supervisor was cracking the shits because I couldn't keep working. And then I said to him, I'll have it done by the morning so I can start up again. So I went to start up in the morning. We all turned up and went to go. And the next minute, he brings the safety officer out. All these people turned up, and they're like, what are we going to do about all this oil on the ground? And I'm like, are you serious? You're worrying about that? It wasn't even that much. It was just a couple of litres or whatever. I don't know. And they're like, no, we're going to have to get all this remediated. We're going to have to square off all this area. And I was like, are you serious? They made such a big deal about it. Man. Yeah. And I was like, I'll just cover it with a smudge bar. Don't worry, no one's even going to know it's there. And they're like, no, we're going to have to block all this off. We have to call the EPA, take samples. And I was like, are you serious? I couldn't believe it, man. They made such a big deal. And I was like, the mechanic was here all night trying to get this ready so we can come back today. And you're giving me this grief now.
Yeah, we had a 1250. It was tracking down a haul road at over in the Pilbara, and it's blown a hose. So I was in the fitter car with this lad. We went out there, and then we dropped the belly guard, and we found the hose, and it was like a return line. It was only a small one, and it just burst. Anyway, he just stood there with his finger in the hose while I like took off to like go and get caps and plugs and get a new hose made, and they got photos of him like standing under there. And he got like this safety award for like looking after like not contaminating the soil. Standing under this 1250 for like an hour like that. It's a pretty good one.
That's a good one. I thought you were going to turn around and say he got in trouble for it, like for being unsafe. But that's good. That's good. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I didn't know they were that strict about it, man. I was like, hopefully I didn't. If they saw some of the things we've done, I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Yeah, wind farms and all those sort of places, they're pretty onto it. Like, it can be very hard. Very hard.
Well, yeah, very, very strict. Very strict. But it's funny, like someone just said there, it's all upset until it's their own job or whatever. But it's true, because supervisors can be pushy and upset when something breaks down, but then they can turn on you in a flash as well. So it's like, hurry up and get it fixed. We've got to get you going. And then when you get going, they're like cracking the shits because you've been down for a while or you've made a mess or whatever. It's just like, what do you want? Do you want me to do one or the other? I can't win.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, that's good, man. That's good. Well, it's after 9. I've probably gone over it with my stories, but I love telling stories. People love it. So I could
Stories are
write a
good,
book.
mate.
Yeah, stories are good, man. I could write books and books on my stories, I tell you. That's in work and out of work, but we'll keep it at work at the moment. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this segment, and I hope everyone else has. Judging by the comments and that, it looks like everybody has. So I really appreciate you coming on today, Aaron.
Oh man, it was good. I enjoy coming on. It's nice. Share stories and yeah, just help people out. A few little tips and tricks and pointers and yeah, like I said, if they get one or two things out of it, then I feel like my job's done. So
Yeah.
yeah, just happy to help, mate. I'm stoked you had me on. So I like the hammer stuff you posted the other week after our chat. That was pretty good. So yeah,
Yeah, no, and thank you for all those tips. That's why I did it. Yeah, so your tips actually helped. So that's really good. Yeah, it's working, man. It's working. We're getting the word out.
yeah. No, that's good, man. Like we just finished rebuilding our first big hammer, like 30-ton hammer. So it went out to work and yeah, it banged away nice and hard. They were pretty stoked with it, but yeah, big money, lots of parts, big money. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, if we can save people the heartache, it's yeah, goes a long way.
That's it. That's it. And we're getting a lot of feedback here from the guys, ADM, Sydney,
Yeah.
Rockwall, Mr. UCBC, is it? Is that how I say it? I can't remember if I said that right. But yeah, guys are giving
Oh
us
yeah,
some
I've
really good
seen the
feedback.
UCBC guys around in Sydney. Yeah, they got nice trucks and machines. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go, man. See? And it's saying some people saying good stories and that. So it's good, man. I love it. I really enjoy this, man. So I have to say from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate everyone that stays on and listens and goes right through to the end because like I'm putting a lot of time in and that too. So when I see everybody on here and that, it makes me feel appreciated. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. And then when I get guys like yourself on here, happy to talk and share knowledge and spread the word to everyone and help people out. That's even better, man. That's a bonus.
Oh yeah. It's a small world, the dirt community, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
help.
Ascend Earthworks is saying he's going to go clean his cab tomorrow. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of guilty people here with all that stuff behind their seats and dirty cabs and that. So tomorrow you'll see
yeah.
everyone will be like cleaning their filters out. All the
Screw them.
supervisors on site will be going, "What's going on
Yeah,
here?"
screw them boot brushes to the outside of the cabs.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
it,
Aaron Witt
man.
special, the boot brushes on everything. So
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I actually went and bought that Cobra coat. I took it down. I've got it over there. You know that Cobra stuff that you buy? It's like Armor All, I think it is, anyway. But everyone goes on about how it smells nice and that. When I did the program about what do I do to clean my machines, a lot of people said try the Cobra coat that you just buy at the servo
yeah,
with the little Cobra picture on it. And I bought a can of that. I'll tell you, it's not bad, man. It smells nice. I got the cherry one.
yeah.
But it doesn't really clean. It's more like Armor All. It's just really just good for shining. But I used that recently, and my machine looked really good for about 2 minutes, and then after that, I dirtied it again. So anyway,
Yeah, there's
that's how it goes.
if you do on the outside of the machine, we use high tech have a heavy duty degreaser, and it works really well. And like you can spray the machine, and it doesn't streak your paint and stickers.
Yep.
We were using that and some other stuff when we're doing all the scrapers for Western Sydney. And yeah, some of it would leave streak marks in the paint, but that stuff was really good, man. It just melt away the grease and you just wash it off, and you wouldn't damage all your paint. So that's
Yeah.
something to have a look at if you
The
just
high
want to
tech,
clean
is it?
everything. Yeah, high tech oils, a heavy duty degreaser. It's yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Works well.
There you go. There you go. Some more advice, guys. There you go. Well, hopefully everyone found something useful in our conversation tonight. The main topic was aircon, but we did cover a few other things, and we are happy to talk about other bits and pieces. So if you have anything that you want us to research or talk about, hit me up during the week, and I'll talk to Aaron, and we'll set something up. But we'll make this a bit of a regular segment. Like we're saying, I don't know if it's going to be fortnightly, weekly, monthly. We'll work something out. But
Yeah.
it would be good to keep doing this. So I really appreciate you coming on, and I thank you for your time as well, man.
Nah, thank you, mate. Cheers. It's good to be on again.
No worries, man. I'll let you log out, and then I'll stay on and end my session, and then we'll talk during the week, man.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Thanks to
All
everybody
right.
tuning in. I'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, man. Good night.
See ya. Bye.
All right. There you go, guys. There you go. So Aaron has logged out, so it's just me now. I will bring this show to an end. I really hope you guys did get something out of it. I know I keep repeating myself, but I think that was a very, very useful session. So going by all the likes, I'm getting heaps of likes and love hearts and that, so that means it must be working. I just want to quick remind everyone quickly that you need to subscribe, follow, like, share everything Earthworks Hub. Let's get it out there. If you haven't listed your business and you're wondering why it's quiet, go to earthworkshub.com.au, list your business on there so everyone knows where to find you. Share, buy some merch if you want to share the Earthworks Hub name and show your support. And thank you to all my sponsors. Guys, have a really, really good week. It's going to be warm in Melbourne in particular. It's going to be warm. I think we're going to start flashing the legs out in the shorts again very, very shortly. I will leave you to it and see you guys on the next episode. Have a good week, guys. See ya.